everyone. It's really lovely to see all of you here today. This is, of course, our first Passion for Life service, and I hope that you've seen the signs around the church. Ever feel like something is missing? In the next few minutes, I'll share a little bit about this theme of something that might be missing, and hopefully we'll see how the Bible shows that something missing could well be from God. The theme of something missing isn't just one that we've decided to run as a church, but it's one which lots of other places have found as well. One place is Milka chocolates. In lots of countries around Europe, Milka Chocolates ran a campaign a few years ago where they deliberately sold chocolate bars with one piece missing. Wouldn't that have been really frustrating to have a chocolate bar where just one of the pieces is missing, not quite all there? Or if you have a look at this picture up on the screen, we'll have a picture in a moment with an advert. I wonder, it took me ages to work this out. So why is dentistry important? Because even though he's missing an eyebrow, the first thing you notice is his smile. It took me so long to work out that his eyebrow was missing. A little closer to home, we all feel this idea though, don't we? That something is missing in life. A mad rush where we look around to fill in the gap of the missing piece in our life. Do you sometimes feel that something is missing in your own life? You may have some really good things going on in your life, things that can fill the void. But the void is still there. I know I feel it sometimes. So many people feel that there's not something that's not quite right about the world. When Milka Chocolate ran the Missing Piece campaign, you could send that missing piece of chocolate to a friend. Nice idea, isn't it? Is the answer to the missing piece in our lives loving other people? If you look at an advert, different adverts will promise you that what they can give you is that missing thing that you've always wanted. For example, you might have a sofa advert. And if just you'll get this right sofa, then you'll have all the comfort that you ever needed. It will sort out the missing piece in your life. This idea of us knowing that something is missing in our lives is common from the poorest person to the richest billionaire. A longing, a wanting to grab hold of something that we know is wrong, that we need fulfilling in our lives. A longing for something which satisfies. There's a cycle in life, I'm sure you'll understand the sort of thing I'm talking about, where you long for something, let's say to be successful in a new hobby, perhaps it's baking or a sport or painting, it could be all sorts of different things. You devote yourself to it, and you feel like that's going to satisfy you. You work for it, you long to achieve. But when you get there, there's a nice moment where you've achieved something, but doesn't it quickly fade away? You quickly then go on to the next thing. This cycle of longing, working, perhaps achieving, but perhaps even not getting there. This can be the case for all sorts of other things. Relationships, money, success. Reaching towards what we feel we want, we need, and then we get there and it just doesn't quite satisfy that longing that we have. There's something just missing there. I've got this thing at home where I love to make banana bread. So I'm really excited about when the bananas, when they've gone overripe, and it's my time to shine. Time for me to get to action and make some banana bread. You see, I don't bake much at home normally, but for some reason making banana bread is my thing to do. So using this sort of cycle that I've been talking about, I long for the bananas to ripen. I work and get my honed recipe to make the banana bread. We eat it and we enjoy it. We make sure we enjoy it. But then, of course, we get hungry again. Maybe the next day we want to have another sweet treat, or maybe even a few hours later, who knows. This cycle is the case for all sorts of things. But I want to tell you today that there's one exception to this cycle. It isn't the case for a relationship with God. God is so wonderful, so innately what all of us need and desire and long for to be truly satisfied. I found, and I know many in this room have found, that in a world which so often feels gloomy, it's by turning to a relationship with God that this longing can finally be satisfied. Today I want to talk to you about the most instinctive, normal thing for all of humanity: to long for the something missing, to long to find a relationship with God. You see, I believe that all of us have a longing for God. Perhaps you're here today and you don't actually believe what I just said, that it's instinctive, normal, to long for a relationship with God. That's absolutely fine. You're really welcome with us. I'm not going to today try to provide some evidence to convince you otherwise. We can have that conversation another time if you like. Instead, I want to do is to show you the Bible's description of what it is that you could be longing for, what you might actually be missing. I believe that coming to know God is like being reacquainted with a lost friend, where you search and search, you look for them all over the place. You've been longing to have that conversation. You've looked in all sorts of places, and finally you find them. You see, there's this God desire in all of us, a desire for something beyond the material world. This desire is acknowledged by many people. There's lots and lots of people who don't have a faith, who acknowledge that there's this desire within us to have some sort of place within this universe. In the Bible reading we had from Romans 1, it talks about this longing which all of us have for God. And it describes how all of us long for a relationship with God, but that we switch it out for other things. I want you to just take a moment to think about what your ideal day would be. I want you to dream about what the most wonderful day in your life would look like. It's just been absolute bliss, enjoying whatever it is that you've just been doing. And then you get home at the end of the day, but of course you feel a bit flat. So you try to replace a brilliant day with lots of other things. Perhaps you get back home at the end of that day and you think back about the great memories you've had. Or you watch TV, or you do any number of things to try and fill that void. Similarly, all of us do this with God. There's this relationship which can satisfy our deepest desires, our most held longings, but we search in all of the wrong places to try and fill that void. In Romans 1 verse 18, it describes how we suppress a relationship with God. I've got a ball here, and it's a little bit like this ball. We suppress it, we put it out of shape. Maybe it falls out of our hands. See, I've even got some of the ball on me. I might be able to misshape it. It might fly off in one direction. But you see, what I haven't done with this ball is I haven't got rid of it. You see, we can never get rid of God, but we can suppress him, misshapen our relationship with him. You see, I believe that all of us instinctively know that we're meant to have a relationship in some way with the universe around us. We see the world and its grandeur, the amazing moons. I don't know if you've seen the moon recently during the day. It's just been incredible during the day, just seeing the moon so clearly. The expanse of creation makes us wonder, is there something more, something beyond an impersonal force, maybe even a personal God? The concept of God makes sense of the world around us. In verse 20 of Romans 1 that we had read as our first readings, it says this: "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." As we look at the creation of the world, particularly recently, I know it's a bit gloomy today, but we've seen some of the starting of the change of season as winter draws to a close. And we look at the flowers and the colour and the beauty in the world. Of course, scientifically, you could explain the flowers coming out and the beauty of the changing of seasons. But science doesn't explain the beauty of it all, the beauty that God made. You see, we can suppress the truth of God, but we can also exchange our relationship with God. One of the pictures that we've had around the church is of burger buns like this. You see, inside these buns, we could well put all sorts of things. We could put broccoli, or could put carrots or apple. We could put all sorts of things. But what you really want inside here is a burger. You want the real thing. Well, I realise some people are obviously vegetarian, so it doesn't only go so far. But we also exchange our relationship with God. They exchanged, in verse 25, the truth about God for a lie, and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator. Here's the thing. We all long for the real, full-fat thing with God. Often things around us just aren't fulfilling. We might get a dopamine fix from scrolling on our phone, or a burst of enjoyment from our latest hobby. In a world of instant entertainment, what do you do when entertainment no longer entertains? The real thing is what we look for. The one you've longed for all along, who doesn't lose his shine. But finding God is the greatest exchange, where this cycle that we've been thinking about of longing for something more is finally broken. But what does it actually look like to know God? Well, I think the woman at the well that we had from John chapter 4 is a really beautiful example of what this looks like. She was going to get water by herself from a well, and Jesus actually talks to her about this cycle that I've been talking about. The cycle of life where we long for something, we get it, and it only satisfies for so long. Jesus says to her, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again." It's true, isn't it? When you're out in a hot day, you have a drink, it's refreshing for a short time. But on a very hot day, it doesn't take long at all for it not to satisfy any longer. Instead, Jesus says, "Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." You see, with Jesus, the normal cycle of things is broken. Where with most things the shine wears off after a while, knowing God wells up to eternal life. That is, that God offers us a relationship with him that satisfies our thirst right now, but it satisfies even more forever. The longing that we have for peace, for wholeness, is found in him. Knowing God is the real deal. In a world of false hopes and dreams, desires that go unfulfilled and things that we would love to happen that just don't satisfy. There's so much more I could say about this encounter between the woman and Jesus, but I want to make one more point. That knowing God isn't about us striving towards some vague deity out there somewhere in the world, as if we can reach and go to him. But you see, incredibly, God already knows us. You see, Jesus and the woman, to show this, have a bit of a strange conversation. In John chapter 4, verse 15, the woman said, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water." Jesus replied, "It's a curious thing." He says, "Go, call your husband and come back." "I have no husband," she replies. To which Jesus says, "You're right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you've had 5 husbands, and the man that you now live with is not your husband." You see, this is a curious conversation. Jesus had never met this woman before, but he knew everything about her already. Rather than being troubled by her life, Jesus knew everything about her and offered her what was missing. Jesus knew this woman already, but the woman hadn't experienced or known God. God came to be within reach of her. Jesus was offering her everything that she ever wanted. A relationship that lasts, a relationship with God that she could know so well. And the same is true for us. You know, however you come here to church today, God knows you. He knows your hopes and your longings. He knows the things that are giving you some sense of satisfaction in life at the moment, but maybe are feeling like something's missing. He knows those ways that, sadly, and perhaps you might be ashamed of this, you've been suppressing the truth, suppressing a relationship with him, or exchanging a relationship with him for other things. He knows all of these things, and he offers to give you life which satisfies in him. For the woman who encountered Jesus at the well, no longer would she have to be constantly asking, "What's missing in my life? Will I ever find a good relationship?" You see, the woman at the well found Jesus, and it transformed her life. Is something missing in your life? The woman had found her need for God at the well. And this something for us can be found in Jesus. If you're new, let's keep this conversation going. I'm so glad that you've come to be with us. I'd love to chat with you after, or Jake or Nick or somebody else over a drink. I'm sure would love to chat. You see, I wonder, could the missing piece that you've always been longing for actually be found in God?